Harry Maguire last year became very, very good at progressing the ball. Very good. He used to step out, Lindelof would sit, and he would go. This year, he's got a world-class centre-back next to him, and he stopped progressing the ball. So you have to say to yourself, why have you stopped doing that? So that's something for the manager to answer, because the manager has to tell his captain, get the ball and bring it 10 or 15 yards. Problem 3, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is way off form, and Luke Shaw's form is dipping and sliding. So we saw with Luke Shaw yesterday that probably had his worst game, but he clearly had a problem. He had an injury. You could see he's carrying something.
He's looking injured, yeah.
He's looking injured. So, he's carrying an injury. And we just talked about Maguire there. So it's quite salient to say that maybe Maguire is carrying an injury. So they both play because they want to play. They want to win football matches for United. But you can see there's issues there. So Luke Shaw wasn't getting forward. He got done twice. One where he tried to out-jump the defender and they came inside and they broke. And then there was another time when the ball was fed through the channel and Shaw was dead. Like they were in behind and they nearly scored. So that's a problem. So they're the fullbacks of the issue. Let's talk about McFred now. McFred do what McFred do. They're double pivot. We talk every week about how they sit. One goes, one sticks. We say this every week. It's the same thing. Nothing changes. And you saw yesterday that Scott McTominay is still definitely trying to get his fitness back. And Fred is doing the Fred things of running around a lot, addressing the ball and trying to get it off and get the ball forward. Now, neither of those two will ever be great progressive ball passers or carriers. But we have highlighted here, especially statistically, that they both kind of do their jobs. So when they're in those roles, they get the ball, and maybe a Basuma would do it better, maybe a Neves would do it better, but they don't play for you, those footballers. So what is the point in talking about them today? You have to talk about what you've got.
Let's talk about Donny van der Beek, Rob, then.
No, I'm going to add Donny to it. I'm going to add Donny to it because Donny's part of that mix. So if you played Donny van der Beek yesterday in what was against a low block, against an aggressive Aston Villa team, setting up to kind of spoil and setting up their midfield to kind of take the ball off you in those bad areas where you don't win so they can counter-attack, do I believe that Donny van der Beek would have done that better as a number 6? Well, everyone knows I'm going to say no, because that's not what he does. He's not a destructive player. He's a ball player. But I don't want my double pivot against a low block being my ball players. I want the 4 in front of them being the ball players and then the fullbacks. So that is like 6 players, Haider. So that's not a kind of like, half the team do one function and half the team do the other.
But Rob, the problem is when your fullbacks aren't doing that function, you're attacking with 4 players. And it showed yesterday, and that's where, Rob, then, well, we've got a problem. Fundamentally, there's not just one section of the team that is a problem. You've got the fullbacks are a problem. You're talking about the midfield. I disagree with you because I think that you still need, when you're up against a low block, you still need the 2 in the pivot to be progressive. That's one area where Matic is better than Fred and McTominay. We know why Matic doesn't play week in, week out, though. But he is a better line-breaking passer than those two. And I think you still need that from your double pivot. And for me, I don't think McFred are the biggest problem. And a lot of people in the comments, and a lot of people on Twitter and YouTube are going to consistently go in on McFred. They're the issue. There's so many more issues to couple with the McFred not being the best that are the issues. But as we're looking at it right now, Rob, would Donny van der Beek would he have been better on the ball, let's say, than Fred yesterday? Would he have been more of an asset against a low block? For me, yes, 100%.
I think when you've got 3 central midfielders in there, which is what Aston Villa played yesterday, that's the low block. They come out hard, and they come and press to come and get you in the correct areas. So they sit and then they address the ball. Donny van der Beek has showed nothing in his Manchester United career that tells me that in that system he would have been better. Not at all. And I think that's why the manager doesn't pick him. I do not believe that Ole sits here and thinks, I'm just not going to play Donny because I don't fancy him and I prefer McFred. I don't think he thinks that at all. I think he's thinking, I've got to play against 3 central midfielders, so I need 2 that are incredibly mobile and that can go and confront players. So unfortunately, Manchester United fans, this is why we play McFred. It's out of function. So if you want a Basuma, you're going to have to wait till January. If you want a Neves, you're going to have to wait till January. For this game, you cannot change it. So I don't see anything in Donny van der Beek's game that says to me, this was the match for him to play in the double pivot. There are going to be other games where you can play Donny as a number 6 with a partner. That partner will probably be more likely someone like Matic. But when you look at what you needed yesterday, Haider, it's all very well to roll the dice and say, I think Donny might have progressed the ball better. No chance. In front of him is Paul Pogba, Mason Greenwood, Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes, and all 4 of them had plenty of the ball. So the issue wasn't how the ball went from A to B to C. and C being the problem at the top end of the pitch. The issue wasn't B. It wasn't what was going on in the double pivot. It's just this lovely, dreamy scenario that United fans have that don't like McFred, who want to kind of cap it on them. And you said at the top of the show, it's not really their issue. It wasn't a McFred issue yesterday. And I agree with that. Yes, I would love to replace them eventually. But we have to plan for the next game, Haider. We can't plan for 6 months' time. We have to plan for what happens next. And bringing, say, Donny into the team for the Champions League game, is that the right thing to do? Well, it depends if we're going to see another low block against Manchester United. I don't believe that Donny van de Beek is the answer.
We are against Villarreal, Rob. We played them before. That's what
he's not a baller, right? Look, Donny van de Beek is not a baller in the sense that he can find passes from open play. He's really good in one-touch football. He's really good at kind of becoming the 8, moving into the 10. He can do that. If he's going to play the 6, he has to play against functional Premier League teams, that are not going to press. So he's got space. Yesterday, that midfield 3 and McGinn pushing hard on the midfielders and most of the game was about that confrontation. They're 3 against our 2, and then Bruno was coming in there. So it's like a 4-3-3, and those 3 kind of pressing and pushing against each other. And what happened? Villa were the better team. Villa got the ball more in the correct areas, and Villa had the better chances. But Villa didn't have the most possession. Villa didn't have kind of the kind of acute area in the correct areas of the pitch. They just got those chances because of what Manchester United were doing. So for me, it wasn't really about McFred yesterday. They were like the 4th problem. We need to talk about Ronaldo and Bruno. This is a conversation that people are not having. Ronaldo's come to the club. Everyone's really hot. You've all gone and bought his number 7 shirt and you feel great. Well, it is a problem. It might be a problem going forward. You look at kind of that second one when Maguire was really good last season. So much so, he gets into the England setup as like one of the best players at the Euros. You kind of see in the form that we want to see from a captain. He's lost that. So we have to ask why that is.